Okay, welcome to our venture today. How do, you people in YouTube land? So, this is the map of the place we're going to. Can you see it? So we start off our venture here at this place, the skywalk. We walk all the way through to here, and then we'll see some guns. And in this video, what we're going to do, we're going to continue looking at the fort and walking around and see what we can find in the fort. Maybe even see more cannons and guns. Does that sound interesting to you? So that's the plan. Want to join me for that? So we are at the top of the hill, Mount Siloso, or hill. Yes, and in the past, all these vegetations were cleared, and we would have had a clear view from here down to the sea. But now it's a museum, so they let the trees grow. And here is just an example of how they would have installed the cannon at this location here. Yeah, at this is actually one of the ports where the cannons were installed in the past. And in these metal cabinets here, where you will keep the ammunition, and you see the hole there? That's where the support for the cannons used to be. And so this here is a replica of one of those guns that used to stand at this location. It's a 6-inch quick firing gun barrel, and it would have weighed 6 tons with their 45 kg shells, and it was a formidable anti-ship weapon, and it was installed around 1889. And here is one of those observation decks where in the past you would stand here, you would sight the ships, and you would order the cannons to fire in that direction. So from here you would have been able to see to the sea from here, and then there'll be one cannon on this side here, and there should be another on the other side. Yep, in the past you would have been able to look from here all the way down to the sea. And here is where the other cannon would have stood. And underneath these two cannons is actually an underground bunker. And in this underground bunker is where they store the 45 kg shells or ammo that the cannons fired. And if you go under here, go down here, you can see the complex. And then, yep, this is an underground tunnel. It's still, yeah, so there are actually some audio tracks that are played as you go inside here, so you can actually see these old tunnels built by the British. And you see there's actually a machinery here. This machinery, it was used to actually transport the shells. I told you 45 kg shells are very hard for you to carry up all the way, so they actually had this machinery to actually bring the shells up to where the cannons are. And then they will have stored the shells in this area here, in an underground bunker, protected from probably enemy fire, the weather, kept dry, and so that you can use it when you need. And they also have some like really spooky mannequins. A better view of the machinery that carried the shells up to the top. Look at this. Yep, so in the past they will put the shells here, and the shells would have been went all the way to the top. And then you also have some really spooky mannequins, lifelike spooky mannequins. Yeah, so they just show you how they would have moved the shells around. 45 kg each. And over here, you see the blue, yeah, that's where the shells come out from. So the machinery will carry the shells right up to there, and in front of us now is another structure called the Battle Command Post. So here you actually have a higher position for you to actually view the incoming ships. So let's get on top there and let's have a look and see what we can see there. Let's see and look and find and feel whether we can see and find or feel whatever we can do. Okay, but I suspect there will be more spooky mannequins up there. Oh, I see somebody there. Can you see that? There's somebody in there. Oh, mind your head, because a head is a pity to lose. Yeah, so there are more spooky mannequins here. So from here, they would have spotted ships coming in, and I suspect not only ships but planes too. There's a clock here, stopped in time. There are some. This is one of the windows. Probably this is where the telegraph is, or some kind of communication machine. You also have a phone there, and there's also a chart to show you the silhouette of the ships that you will see coming in. And then probably a phone or a radio, and then you have a calendar. So there are some tunnels and there are some it's basically a command bunker that you can actually see like really eerie kind of like models, mannequins, mannequins that reenact what happened or what this place was used for, So if you're not afraid of mannequins, come. You up there, get on the car. So instead of bringing you to like Tanjong Katong, where I show you an archaeological find of what a British fort looks like, it just hit me. Boom! Why don't I just bring you to an actual, real, surviving British fort, which is here at Fort Siloso. It's been around since World War II at least, or longer. They actually blew up the top of Siloso Hill so that they could build this fort here. Yep. So let's just walk around and see what we can find. And if we head down this flight of stairs, it will bring us down to the casemates, which were like storage area. And before we go in there, we'll look at these cannons, which is just right beside the casemates. So these cannons here are quite interesting because they were the more modern kind of cannons that were installed in probably around 1890s and later along in Singapore. Some of them were here, some of them were at other forts. There are two types of cannons here. They are the 9.2 inch and the 8 inch breech load guns. So the 9.2 inch breech load guns were actually installed at the Kavanaugh Fort, or Fort Kavanaugh, and later brought here to this fort and installed here. There is also an 8 inch breech load gun, which was actually installed at the Defence Coastal Battery on top Mount Serapong, which was on the eastern end of Sentosa. And at one end of Fort Siloso Square, there is also another gun placement, and here you can see they actually recreate the scene of the British soldiers loading the guns. And here is one of the machinery that they, if you can see underneath there, where you actually carry up the ammunition down from the supply area up to here, where it is loaded into the guns. Like I said, this is a breech loaded gun, so they actually load the ammunition, the shells, at the back of the cannon, and then fire out from the front. Right next to the gun placement is this little office area here, and then right next there is another more underground tunnels. And if you go to the office area, you'll notice that one side of it is actually against the hill. So it's a very safe place to be if this place was being bombarded. Because, if you notice, the windows are made of metal. Yeah, metal windows. And metal doors. Then we also have the casemates. These were strong underground chambers built to provide accommodation, office, and storage space. They were designed to be shell-proof and faced away from the sea to protect it from hostile naval firing. So let's get inside and see what we can find in here.
The mission sank or badly damaged 7 Japanese ships.
One thing I like about this place is they actually aircon the place. So after walking out in the outdoors in the hot sun, you can come here to watch some documentaries and read the walls with lots of, because there's lots of information being put on the walls telling you about what happened in this area, this place.
By February the 15th, more than 1 million.
So lots of information if you just stay around here and look at it. Yes, and you can also walk along a dark corridor. Right next to the casemates is another gun battery position and also another underground tunnel. So here is where there used to be another cannon. Gone now. It was a 6-inch cannon. And then here is the underground tunnel. This underground tunnel, the exhibition here is slightly different. This one is about the experience of the British POWs during World War II. So you can actually come here and read the material on the walls that tells you the life, the suffering of the POWs, the British POWs during the World War II, when they were the prisoners of war of the Japanese Army, Japanese Imperial Army. So this tells you the experience, but there are actually also more mannequins here to show you what this tunnel used to be for. This tunnel used to store ammunition for the 6-inch cannons that were on top we saw earlier. So they would have stored the ammunition here. And if you go to the next room, what you can see is more tunnels, and here is where, or they show you how they actually bring up the heavy artillery shells from the storage area here up to on top where the cannon is. So they use this kind of like a lift mechanism. And earlier when we were up there, we actually looked down the shaft. So the shaft actually looked down into this area here. And we are going to exit this underground tunnel now. And once we get out, you will notice we were actually under the exhibition earlier that we saw, where there was the 6-inch gun and the creepy mannequins were loading the cannon. Yep, there was species on top there. So unfortunately, this brings us to the end of our adventure here today at Fort Siloso. I hope you enjoyed this portion of the adventure. One more portion coming. Look out for that next week. As per usual, support my channel by liking my video, sharing my video, and also subscribing to my channel. Support me on Patreon or PayPal financially, or just watch some of my old food adventure videos. And lastly, but the most important thing, don't forget to join me for my next adventure. I will see you guys around. So, if the mannequins are thirsty, what they can do? They can come here to this vending machine. Yes, during World War II, vending machine technology was very advanced, so we have a vending machine here for the British soldiers, I guess.